Hey there guys, maybe a shorter video today than I did last week. Maybe not, who knows. But this week, and I'm going to put the phone down, ooh, it's a mobile development week. So I've kind of been playing around with Android Studio and it's got Gemini built in. And also I did play around with Claude Code. And I've kind of got the bug a little bit in creating small Android apps. I say Android apps because I have an Android Google developer account, which I got, I think, back in 2018. I paid the $25 or whatever it was at the time. I never got an iOS one. So I'm just playing around with Android ones at the moment. Who knows? Maybe in the future I'll get into iOS as well, but for the moment, just Android. So I got the bug a little bit, another kind of one of those things, because although I think it's probably the fans going, I still have the old Bitcoin mining. That's still a fun hobby. The NerdQaxe plus the second one is in the UK on its way from the airport to me now. So maybe a couple of days time, I'm gonna have another one of those, but it's going to be sort of a fan air, not water cooled, and it is the older version, the 4.8 terahertz one, not the Rev 6.1, which is the 6 terahertz one, or can be up to 6. So, but to be honest, it costs less than half the price of the 6.1. So not having that extra 1.2 terahertz, that's just a bit axe. I can get one of those for less than the cost of actually upgrading to the version 6. And it might consume as much, if not less, power. Who knows? So yeah, that's still going on. There's a few other things I've been looking at which are quite interesting. I mean, I saw the other day a great price for a small DJI. Is it Neo, the smallest one? Drone. I've always wanted a drone, but I just have to think of the opportunity to where I could use one. To be fair, maybe in the future I'll get one, and because some great landscapes around here that you can take some brilliant drone video footage of. Down know on the south coast here. But yeah, my current kind of fun fact has been app development for Android, because I'm a developer at heart, but and I've always wanted to do more Android stuff, and I learned a little while ago doing very basic stuff, but the using Android Studio and the Gemini, it really does give you a rapid development sort of environment to really get going quick and develop some things. So yeah, I think what I'm doing is I'm using the Android app and Gemini, and I'm using that to build fairly basic-ish apps, but at the same time I'm using that time to actually learn the development parts, in Android that I don't know, because I've never been a developer for mobile devices. I've always done sort of back end and a little bit of front end, majority C++, Java, C Sharp. So it's kind of given me the ability to learn. To be fair, I mean, I'm actually using the Studio and Gemini, and as I said, even Claude. But Claude actually, I think the Gemini and I'm losing my hand. I'm getting my way now. The Android Studio gives you better insight into the code rather than Claude Code, because Claude Code, although it's really good and it does a nice job, I think it hides it a little bit more, or it makes it a little bit more complex to read, if that makes sense, at least for me. Whereas the Gemini and Android Studio make it a little bit more readable for me. That may not be the fact for everybody, but for me. So yeah, that's the kind of current week I've been having. This week is I'm doing Android development, and I may ping below this video, I may not yet, I don't know, the couple of apps I've already got up on the store now. I've actually developed a couple of small apps. These are things that I want, so I made them, like I do with a lot of the development stuff I've done in the past with my my WordPress things which I've not yet published. They're things that I want and use, and I thought it'd be useful rather than paying money to get them. Maybe I'll use something like, as I say, Claude to build them. So I may put them on for people to look at. As I say, they are quite basic because they're the very first two that I've done. The very first one is a little bit of a pain because both of them actually use voice inputs for things, and I found that with the second one, which the first one I did through Claude Code, and the second one I did it directly in Android Studio, and I found that Android Studio, it actually looks nicer when you're doing the voice. However, for the first one, I needed the voice to always be on, and there's a problem. It's not a problem. It's not a bug. It's just the way it works. But what happens is when you stop talking for input in the phone, then it basically it stops. It thinks that's you finished, and it stops the recording. And I wanted for the first app I did, because it's basically a dictate app. I wanted to actually be able to record, like say you write a book, record, and then it would create the notes. But it kept stopping after about 4 words, 4 or 5 words. Every time I took a pause, it would stop. Now I got it to work, although it can be a little bit jinky, where because it goes into these pause modes, and there's I'm not sure how we fix that yet. Sometimes it can seem like it's not being very responsive, or it might miss if you say full stop, for example. And it's got very basic, like you can say full stop, you say comma, you say question mark. Can't say new line, which is a pain because that would be nice. But it can sometimes miss the next few words after you've paused for like 2 seconds. So that's a little bug I need to work out. But it does work quite well for the most part, which is good. As I say, it's a very simple app. And what I'm doing, they're all free. I see a lot of these where the voice, you have to pay to use. I'm thinking, no, make it completely free. I'm not using any AI background where it would charge. It's basically using a very simple in-phone speech to text. But the way I'm making anything of them is I added an ad mob to them. So the point being, if I can get traction in this, then maybe I'll do that more often. Look, I've already talked for nearly 8 minutes. But yeah, interesting week. Android development, it's got me hooked, and I think that's a lot of it because of the Android Studio, the new Android Studio, the new Gemini. It's just brilliant. I can do some very rapid development, and I'm learning more as I go. I mean, to be honest, I've spent 20 odd years as a developer, so for me, it's obviously much easier to pick up stuff, I suppose, than people who are just learning, because it's less alien to me. But yeah, that's it really. That's been my week. So Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin cash mining, and I can't remember what the other coin I'm doing now. It's another. I think it might be. I think it's Bitcoin 2. Is it BC2? I think that's the one I picked. I'm doing it, and mining Dutch. Or is it Dutch mining? I can't remember what it is now. God, my brain's gone a bit woo. Yeah, so still going. Got a new NerdQaxe++ coming. That should be in the next few days. That'll be up there. Although I am away this weekend, so I may not do any shorts, but I may do a short before I go. Who knows? So I'm going to go now. I'm going to leave you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, because I didn't say that at the beginning. And I'll speak to you next week, and look out for any shorts. Bye for now.